We all know St. Francis of Assisi as the animal whisperer, the poverty-loving saint, and the guy who might have started the world's longest-lasting bird-watching club. But let's be honest, there is a lot more to Francis than just someone who could chat with a sparrow. He was an absolute holy madman, a lovable lunatic to Jesus. So, if you think you already know Francis, buckle up. We are about to go beyond the usual talking to birds bit and dive into some of the lesser known, wilder moments. First off, Francis had a massive ego problem for his conversion. I'm talking future TikTok star level of ego. His dad was wealthy, so Francis dressed like he had a permanent runway to walk down. His friends used to call him King of the Rebels, which is a medieval way of saying most likely to buy the bar around and start dancing on the tables. But God had other plans. Francis, however, didn't pick up on the heavenly hints right away. In fact, he did what any overconfident guy in his 20s would. He tried becoming a knight. Yes, Francis the knight. Sword, armor, the whole bit. He was ready to ride into battle and win glory. God must have chuckled because not only did Francis get captured, but he also caught a bad case of reality and an illness. So much for knighthood. But it's post-conversion where Francis really hit his stride. Most people think he started wearing that rough brown robe as a humble symbol of poverty. Not quite. You see, his dad threw him out of that little incident of selling family clothes to rebuild the church. Francis literally had no clothes. Zero. Nada. The robe, he scavenged it probably from someone's clothesline. If fashion could speak, it would have been like, we have downgraded from Gucci to, well, burlap. Now, Francis wasn't content with poverty. He chased it like it was the latest iPhone release. And he didn't expect his fellow friars to take shortcuts either. Francis didn't talk the talk, he walked the walk. Usually barefoot and singing loudly in the streets, looking like the happiest homeless man you could ever meet. People thought he was out of his mind, and honestly, they had a point. He spent more time chatting with birds than people. He didn't just preach to them, he practically hosted tech talks. One day, a flock of sparrows couldn't shut up during his sermon. So Francis turns to them like the school teacher and says, "Excuse me, I'm talking here." And they quieted down. The crowd must have been thinking, "Oh wait, now he's Dr. Doolittle." Then there's the story of Brother Wolf of Cubio. The villagers were terrified of this vicious wolf that had been munching on their livestock and sometimes people. But Francis, being Francis, just waltzes into the forest and says, "Hey Wolfie, let's talk." And it worked. The wolf became vegetarian and a village mascot. Francis managed to broker peace between a town and a literal predator. Who does that? But wait, there's more. Ever heard about his attempt at starting the world's first Christmas pageant? Yes, Francis basically invented the nativity scene, complete with live animals. But I like to think he just wanted another chance to hang out with farm animals. This man had goats as spiritual companions. Can you imagine a modern-day Francis? He'd probably be running around with a GoPro strapped to his head, making a YouTube series called Preaching to Pigeons, or starting a podcast called Wolf Whisperers. And while we are on the subject of animals, did you know Francis once tried preaching to a fish? It happened during one of his infamous preaching to literally anyone moments. When people didn't listen to him, Francis figured, hey, maybe this trout's got some time to hear about the gospel. He leaned over a riverbank and started giving a whole sermon to this poor fish. The fish, for its part, floated there politely, probably thinking, I didn't ask for this, but okay. But beneath all these quirky stories, the dramatic gestures, and the public nudity, there was a deeper wisdom. Francis wasn't just crazy, he was crazy in love with Jesus. His whole life was one big love letter to Christ, scribbled in mud, laughter, and barefoot dances. He showed us that joy doesn't come from wealth, power, or status, but from abandoning everything for the sake of the one who gave everything for us. And if it meant looking like a fool to the world, Francis was perfectly fine with that. So here's to you, St. Francis, the original holy fool. You showed us that loving Jesus means willing to do the ridiculous, the absurd, the downright embarrassing, all for His glory. You taught us that it's okay to be misunderstood, laughed at, and even a little strange, as long as we are all following the call of God. And today, we pray for the grace to be as wonderfully crazy for Jesus as you were.